Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today we're going to talk about all the books I read in October. So I read a lot of books in October. I had surgery to have my gallbladder removed a week before Halloween. So I was in bed for a week after that and I just devoured a whole bunch of books. So let's see. I'm going to go through my Goodreads just to see which ones I actually read first. Oh, I know which one I finished first. I don't actually have it here because I lent it to a friend. But Quicksilver, it's also on Kindle Unlimited. Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I really loved this book. I rated it 4.5 stars. Okay, so this one is about, why can I never pronounce these names? Sierras? Okay, I'm just gonna call her Saris. This is about 24-year-old Saris Thane, and she's good at keeping secrets. No one knows that she possesses special powers. She's really good at pickpocketing. Somehow she opens a portal to another world that might just get her killed. So she lands into this world where there's fae. It might get her killed. So first of her kind to tread the frozen mountains of Velia in over 1,000 years, Saris mistakenly binds herself to Kingfisher, a handsome fae warrior who has secrets and nefarious agendas of his own. He will use his alchemist magic to protect his people, no matter what it cost him or her. Death has a name. It is Kingfisher of Owen Gate. So this book is why I rated it 4.5 star. It's an adventure, and the characters that are brought into it are all kind of lovable. They're all interesting in their own way. If you liked Court of Throne of Roses, or if you liked like Throne of Glass, if you like Crescent City, you would like this book. I would recommend. That's Quicksilver by Callie Hart. It's on Kindle Unlimited, but it was so good I actually went and bought the book and then gave it to my best friend to read. So that was the first one that I read in October. So that was before my surgery. That was right at the beginning. Then I read, this is also on Kindle Unlimited, Phantasma. And this, I heard so much great things about this. This is Phantasma by Kylie Smith. I didn't really like it. I rated it a 3 star. So it's like, yeah, like if someone said, hey, I picked that up, I'd be like really interested in hearing about how you felt about it. There is a second book, and I don't know. I think if I saw it secondhand, maybe I'd buy it. But this is about Ophelia discovers her mother brutally murdered. There is no time to grieve. She has inherited the family's fearsome magic and enormous debt. Circumstances go from dire to deadly, however, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma. So Phantasma is this, I guess it would be like a competition, and it's life or death. And there's phantoms, and then there's like ghosts, and I guess I don't know what else there is. There's demons, I don't know. It was interesting. Spice level would probably be higher. I would not recommend this to maybe younger people. Yeah, it's one sister goes to go save the other sister. She enters this game that there is every day there's like a challenge to and I guess whoever wins it goes on, but there can only be one winner, and there is a phantom that assists her. Anyways, that was Phantasma. Moving on. Okay, so the next one I read was also on Kindle Unlimited. I was on a Kindle Unlimited stretch here. I don't have it. It's Mystery of the Old Mill. It's an Eve Malloway mystery, number 4 by Claire Chase. And I actually read number 5 as well this month. These books are like a palate cleanse. So this is about this woman who is a obituary writer, and she has a little dash hound like Lolo, and she ends up into this small town, and every book there's a murder. And she is trying to solve this murder, but she is an obituary writer, not an investigator. So the police officer in charge of all these investigations is not impressed with her at all, but she has friends in the town that help her out. It is a fun read. So if you ever just want like a nice light mystery read that's kind of funny, it's not too dark, go for the Eve Malloway Mysteries by Claire Chase. I'm on number 5. I think I'll take a break, and then maybe I'll pick up the next one. I don't even know what the next one is called, but it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I just pick it up whenever I just don't know what I want to read, but I'm laying in bed and just, right before you want to go to bed and you just don't want anything too dark or too deep. It's a fun read. Okay, so after that, I went away to the trailer, and if you saw that video, I read The Stone Witch by Anne Rasche. And this is about this girl in the 1300s, and she is a witch, pretty much. She can harness the hidden powers of gemstones, and she can heal the sick. But in this time, if you were special at all, you were declared a witch. And so she was declared a witch and banished. Then the people that banished her calls her back when the Black Plague comes. And so the Black Plague is ravaging Italy. The same man who expelled Ginevra are begging for her to return. So she returns, and she is going to solve this mystery of who's stealing relics from the churches. But she has to promise that she's not going to heal anybody and do any of her magic. But her investigation progresses. She discovers she's merely a pawn in a much larger scheme than the one that she's been hired to solve, and the dangerous men behind the conspiracy won't think twice about killing a stone witch to get what they want. This was a really good book. I'm not sure what I rated it. I rated it a 4-star. So this was a really good book. I think I would read this again. It was a really interesting story. It kind of jumped back and forth. So I think at the beginning it was hard to get into because it was jumping back from when she was younger to the present day. But then it gets into it. And you need that to actually get to know the story of her past. But then it really gets good. So if you pick it up and you're like, oh, the beginning's a little bit, not slow, but it takes a bit to build the story, it gets better. Okay, so that's The Stone Witch. Okay, so then I read this fatty. So this is Sarah J. Maas, House of Flame and Shadow, and this one is it's over 800 pages. I thought it was more. About 835, I think. Yeah. So I had already started this book, and I don't know how far into it I was. So I started this book when it came out, and then I thought that you had to read A Court of Thorns and Roses before you read this. So then I went back and tried to read those, and then I think maybe I did read this one first. And this, message below if you agree with me, if you've read this series. There was no point in this book. There was a nice little story. It did not build. You do not need to read this book if you are reading the series, because anything in this book, I don't think helps with the next book. So, and by the way, I DNF the next book. Don't come for me. It's the last one in the series. I just couldn't get into it. Maybe I'll pick it up again another time. I even tried to listen to it on Audible, and I just was like, forget it. I like this series better. So I just picked this one back up. So once again, I don't know how far I was into this. I had picked it up probably when it came out, and then never finished it. So this was a book when I came out of the hospital. I like binged this book. I probably read most of it. Just couldn't put it down. 5-star. This is the last one in the series, so I don't really want to tell you what is going on in this one. You need to read this series. But this series is about Bryce Quinlan. She lives in a different world, and there's angels, and there's really bad people that she needs to fight. I don't know. How would you explain the series? Okay, so Bryce Quinlan, she is part fae, part human, and humans in this world are suppressed, and she is just pretty much getting by in this world. And then something happens that is absolutely devastating, and she, in the first book, and then it just builds on from there. Characters are introduced. Each character you end up loving, and it's just a great series. I'm butchering it. I don't even know, but that's a really good series. So if you haven't picked that up by Sarah J. Maas, this one, no, don't do that one. Okay, so I don't think these are all in order because I think I read this one before that. Maybe, I don't know. I'm losing order now. House of Glass by Sarah P. Cannon. So this one, I didn't put a rating on Goodreads. I think this would be about a 4-star. So this is Rose Barkley is a 9-year-old girl who witnessed the possible murder of the nanny. In the midst of the parents' bitter divorce, immediately stopped speaking. So Stella Hudson is a best interest attorney, and she's appointed to counsel the child. But so it's a murder mystery, and this attorney has been put in there to make a report on who the child should end up with. This child doesn't speak anymore. This nanny has been pushed out this window and has died. And you don't know if it's the child, a family member who's murdered this nanny, or if the nanny has even been murdered. It is a really good book. Highly recommend it. Good suspense. 4-star. Okay. And then the last one I read of October, and it was funny because if you look at my October TBR, it is all spooky reads, and I had one, maybe two, maybe that. Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call that spooky. I just call that smutty. That Phantasma, that's a smutty book. So the last one, I wasn't in the Halloween spirit because of surgery the week before. Understandable. So the last book I read was The 3 Lives of Alex St. Pierre by Natasha Lester. And so this one is about Alex, and Alex is an orphan, and she was at a private school or something, and when her parents passed, or somehow she ends up at the same school as this girl named Lily, and Lily, and they become best friends. And then the war happened. Alex is like a spy in the war. Not a spy, well, I guess a spy. She finds out information, sends cables about it. Yeah, kind of like a spy. And so it bounces back and forth it bounces everywhere actually. It's an interesting story. It was just that I think I liked the part when she was working for a famous designer. She works for a famous designer. And I liked that story. It was really interesting, and the bond that she shared with this famous designer, and she got to wear the dresses and stuff like that. Fantastic part of the story. I don't know. I don't think it flowed for me. I was just struggling to finish it, and I don't know why. And maybe it just wasn't the right time to read this book, but if you like a historical fiction, let me know if you've read this one. I'm just wondering if it just wasn't the right time for me, and I was probably in a book slump, and I was just making myself read it. Probably. But anyways, it's about this girl named Alex, and it's in World War II. She's a spy, but then it jumps forward to when the war ends, and there's a figure from the war that reappears that threatens to destroy her future. Or she realizes that only she can right the wrongs of the past and find justice. So I think I rated that one a 3-star. Okay. Oh, that was loud. All right, so yeah, these are the books that I read for October. Let me know if you've read these ones. I've had a 5-star. This would probably be, I'd say, a 2 for the Court of Frost and Starlight. Stone Witch was a 4. Phantasma, I think it would be like a 3. I really didn't enjoy that one. House of Glass, 4. And this one probably a 3 because it just wasn't for me at the time. But let me know what you read in October, and if you had a favorite book, or if you've read one of these, or you want to read one of these. I want to thank you for liking this video. If you could please like and subscribe, I would love it. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon.